afternoon once again, Turks and Caicos. I am Tamika Handfield. I am guest hosting another TCI Patriot Hour right here on Tropical Vibes, and we want to welcome you across the TCI, whether you are in Providenciales, North Caicos, Middle Caicos, South Caicos, Grand Turk, Salt Key, wherever you may be on this beautiful afternoon, Thursday, the 26th day of May. We want to say welcome to the TCI Patriot Hour right here on Tropical Vibes. It is a rainy afternoon in Providenciales. It's beautiful though, nonetheless, even though we have getting some showers of blessings, I want to call them. Although I'm just a tad bit ready for the rain to be over. I know God must be sitting in heaven and saying, oh my goodness, I cannot satisfy my children on earth, because when it's hot, they're complaining about the sun. When it's raining, they're complaining about the rain. But we are thankful nonetheless. It's a beautiful afternoon, as I said before, right here in Providenciales. And so we want to welcome you to another exciting hour on the TCI Patriot Hour. Trust me, we have a great show lineup for you today. We're going to be reflecting on our one and only national hero, the Right Honorable a person in the studio who worked with him, who stood by him as he was fighting for the TCI, and so we have a great show lineup for you today. We would like for you to call in, though, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have memories on the Honorable Jags McCartney. We would love to hear from you. You may interact with us on telephone number 941-550. That's 941-550. Or you can also catch us live on Facebook. TCCI on Facebook. We will be live on Facebook. If you have the app for either Samsung or an iPhone, you can catch us there on the app. And then also we are going to be live streaming. The address is Ustream TV/channel/vibes105 FM. Once again, the address is Ustream TV/channel/vibes105 FM. So you can interact with us in a multiple ways. 941-850. We would love to hear from you if you have questions, comments, or memories of working and living with the Right Honorable Jags McCartney. Before we get into the show, though, the nonprofit Nutrition in Demand is hosting its third annual father-daughter dance. It's called Dance with Sister. It's an event that you do not want to miss. It's a time when we celebrate, recognize fathers, and men who are playing the role of fathers in our daughters' lives. If you know somebody, your husband, your son, your uncle, your godson, your nephew, your cousin who's a male, and they have a daughter, please honor them and get them a ticket. Tickets are on sale. They're only $65 for a daughter and her father. And if you have an extra daughter, then it's going to be $35. That includes music, a full dinner, raffle, giveaways, a night of memories that will last you and the father a lifetime. There'll be a cash bar as well as a silent auction, live music provided by Saxopan Serenade. So, just come out and support this as a fundraising event for Nutrition in Demand. And as a reminder, the mandate of the nonprofit is to raise awareness to health and eating. So we do that through a variety of projects, most of them in the community free of cost. So we ask for your support in recognizing the fathers and the amazing job they do every day as they just be who they are in our lives. All right? So that's Dance with Cinderella, June 11th at 30 p.m. at the Brayton Hall. All right, let's get into the lineup that we have today. And I want to welcome with me in studio Mr. Charlie Garland. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
How are you enjoying this rain that we have coming down?
Love it.
You love it?
Yes. I love all weathers.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
God has done that for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, when the rain comes down and then your wife starts to feel chilly, she came closer to you, and some things just that wasn't happening on the sunny day.
Start to happen any day, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, alrighty then, alrighty. So tell us a little bit about Charlie Garland. Who is Charlie Garland?
Charlie Garland is the son of Richard Nathaniel Garland and Elizabeth Alicia Garland. Well, I'm a twin, so my sister Muriel Parker, or the Nee Garland, she was born first. So being a gentleman,
You let her go first.
Yeah, she came into the world first, and me next. Well, when I was 9 months old, my mother gave me to, I call it island white people, to bring up both of us.
Both the twin.
Yes, but I went to one sister, and my sister went to another sister.
Okay.
So we grew up. Well, for years, my older brothers and sisters were always around me because, it's like that. My mother came up with the same white lady too.
Okay.
Yeah, her name was Annie Stiles.
Okay.
So when I was around 11 years old, and her Donna was about to hit Tux and Cakers. Well, Annie Stiles was going to Hattie Jones, her other brother. They were all married, so
right.
But they were as maiden names. So just before sunset, it seems that Annie Stiles, who was the older sister, and Hattie Jones, they were talking, and Hattie Jones said, well, she don't want to spend the hurricane with a black boy in her house.
Oh dear.
So I only got this after we reached back home.
Right.
Annie Stiles politely packed up her things, get her daughter, who was much older, or so, and went back home, and we all spent the hurricane at her home.
Right.
At her home. But this news came at a later date to me. I think it maybe went to my father first. My father and mother. Stiles, were close to him, and they were all around, so he decided to pull me back home. So all of us now became in one house. My mother had 13 children. So
wow.
My oldest brother was 11 years older than me, and I'm 11 years older than my youngest brother.
Wow.
So that's how it is, and I get to grow up in a family that kill each other. If we had an apple, we would take the apple and
share it up.
Yes, and cut it up into those portions so that everybody could taste it.
Got a piece, yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if anyone knows Mrs. Dulcie Wood.
I know her.
She is my older sister.
Okay.
But then I had 8 of them.
Wow.
So it was 9 sisters and 4 brothers at the time. But 2 of my oldest brothers, one used to play for a band in Freeport, Swain and the Island Rockers. My brother Hadley Evan Garland, he got shot in Freeport when a guy came in to his house to try to steal
to rob him,
and And my other brother Richard Nathaniel, who was Richard III, was in Freeport because he was on dialysis. he take it too hard. So my brother died in June, and by August, Richard was gone.
Wow, wow.
So that lead me into drugs.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had my share of that from.
Because of the stress from
Yeah,
that, yeah.
So what has happened is that from about 80, from about 80, I think this was around 86, 87,
Mm-hmm.
and I was all messed up. So gotta say, I lose my wife, my children, my home,
Right, right.
and I have to go back home.
Right.
That's when I really find myself, came back to my head. 1991, I gotta say I took control and went to rehabilitation,
Mm-hmm.
get well, and the rest is history.
Well, kudos to you. Kudos to you for actually, like you say, catching your head, and seeking the help that you so desperately needed. And I'm sure that you can, speak to certain persons maybe today who may be having a problem or experiencing a problem with drugs, and just kind of encourage them. And there is a way that they can help. So kudos to you. Congratulations, for recognizing the need that you had and seeking out the help that you so desperately needed.
Yeah, since I would say December 1st, 1991, I haven't touched any drugs, any alcohol, anything of that sort. No mind changing. So since then, I was wholly and solely involved with the drug groups in Grand Talk.
Nice. So that's your way of giving back then to the society.
I'm a member of the Anti-Drug Prevention Foundation in Provo.
Mm-hmm.
We are now getting ready to break ground for a halfway house.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh yeah, we have some money, but we would like for people who are there, you don't have to give us money if you can. If you want to give us cement,
in kind.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it is with me. I have 9 children by 5 different mothers. Well, that was in the drugs.
You are a happy young man.
I'm still a happy young man.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
I'm much more happier now because I found the Lord.
You were a busy young man then, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, I'm still busy.
Okay.
God has been good to me, and, my youngest son is 21. He's in London at the moment.
Okay.
So that's how it is with me. I have my home in Grand Talk, but I'm down here renting.
Right.
But then, because this is where the wife want to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you got married again, or you got...
Oh, I forget that part.
Yeah, you left that part out.
Yeah, well, the first part is I told you that I lose everything.
You lost, right.
I lose everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then after that, I got married again. I've been married for 21 years.
Congratulations.
I have a son who's 21. We'll get a little started before the wedding, but and since then I have a new brand house, much bigger than the old one. Old one before. And right now, I have a son. That is my youngest son by her. So, we decided to create a, at that time, all of the children, 7 boys and 2 girls. It wasn't easy when you had to support. You got 5 different houses to give support to.
Right. Well, it seems like you've gotten it all back, that you have a lot. So once again, congratulate you for kicking that really bad habit. So, as we said before on the onset of the show, today we're going to be reflecting on the life and the legacy of the Right Honorable Jags McCartney. You were somebody who stood with him. You were somebody who fought with him. So I want you to tell me and TCI just to basically describe your first encounter with Jags McCartney. Do you remember that?
Well, I maybe was a little young, but Jake's is on the corner from where we live.
Okay.
And he often came to my mother's house. He liked her cookings. And my mother used to bake cake and peanut brittle and different things. For the amount of children and things she had to sell something extra.
Right, to get some cash in.
To get some cash
Yeah.
with my father, you know. So the first time I really met with him was after he came from the Bahamas. I didn't know about him when he went to Jamaica, go to school and things like that, but after he came to the Bahamas and was sitting on the wall one night, and he started to tell, well, it's more than me about his dream. And that was before actually the Junkanoo Club had started.
And what was that dream he talked about that night on that wall?
Well, he said that what was happening in the Bahamas with Penland and the rest of the political stuff going on there. And he said he wanted to make sure that things in Turks and Caicos get similar and even better because we were smaller, so it was easier to take care of the little people at that time.
Right.
Yeah, you only had about maybe 10,000 the most
In the country.
in the country. And foreigners, well, we didn't have much of foreigners other than the ones who came for government, had all the heads of the
Right.
departments. And then, well, we had the Haitians, a couple of Dominicans. And they came and they left their families. It ain't like now where you have everyone bringing their families and bringing their brothers, their sisters, everybody coming along with them.
So that night when he was speaking to you guys on the wall, right, and telling you what his dream was for Turks and Caicos at the time, what was the consensus of the people who were on that wall with him? Did they say, okay, man, we're with you, we see that too, we want that too? Or were they saying, dude, what's wrong with you? You crazy? I mean, how did you guys feel that night?
Well, he said he wanted to run in the 1972 election.
Right.
Forget it because you got Bops and Dings and Bud Baston and all of them, who we used to call them society.
Right.
Because even in those times, you had our own people who looked down on us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. This thing about equal, well, I ain't sure we got that yet.
Yeah.
But the part about it, at least we come a long way.
Right.
And I told him, well, give it a try. Because even at that time, our own fathers and mothers wasn't thinking about us, especially when we begin the Black Power movement. Everybody was all around saying these guys trying to be criminals and do that until they realized that if we were criminals, it wasn't them who we hurt or who we do wrong to.
Right.
It was just that we were looking out for their rights,
And trying to make it a better place.
Right. So we did some things, like if we needed to go places tonight to do things, maybe we'll pull up, take the gas out of the Englishman or the Jamaicans at that time.
Y'all did some stuff like that.
Well, we did
You did
we
some
did
stuff like that.
we did some stuff like that and more, but not everything I think should come out into the light
Right, right.
because everybody have a head and they could think what went on.
Right. So now you mentioned this the Black Power movement. Tell us a little bit more about what were the circumstances or the time frame in the 70s that caused you guys to form this Black Power movement.
We had not only was the government run by foreigners. When I say complete
Right.
foreigners, the only place that had Turks and Caicos Islanders running it was the prison.
Wow.
And I think at that time it was Noel Parker. He was the main prison officer.
Okay.
But he wasn't on our side. And you had the police force, even though you had Turks Islanders like Benjamin Taylor, that's Derek.
Honorable Derek Taylor.
Father,
Okay,
God rest the dead. And you had Thomas Sanders, these were people, they were outstanding in the community.
Right.
But like Bops and Dinks and them, they were the more politician. Well, Bops was a civil servant who turned politician. And then you had Basins who, long as I know, were a politician. And then you had Ashton Simons and some of the others. But they would tell the people, oh, these children too young to know what's going on. And
meaning you guys.
Yes. And they wouldn't listen to us, and when we tell them, well, because at that time, most of them maybe didn't even have high school education.
Right.
But they had experience. And I must give it to parents. So when we start to do some things inside of the country, and we heard people like in South Caicos and in Middle Caicos and North were getting in trouble, that's when we went to their rescue.
Right.
And then people, first young people, they come with us, and everybody want to be a part. Now, Junkanoo was on Good Street.
Now, before you go to Junkanoo, just let me make sure I understand what was happening, okay? So, from what I'm hearing you say, there was a time in the 70s when TCI was basically in charge of by foreign people, okay, who were sent here. But there was a group of young people who wanted more for TCI. They wanted to have a stake and a say in what was happening in their country. Now, persons in the community thought that you guys, you were too young, you didn't have anything to say, nothing to offer, basically. And so you all formed this Black Power movement where you basically almost went and took what you wanted. Is that what happened?
Well, no, we weren't thieves of that sort.
Okay.
We maybe take some gas.
No. I don't mean steal, but I mean you make what you wanted to see happen almost.
Yes. And when the Black Power movement was formed, you had members like, well, Jakes were there. You had Kenneth Carter. You had Butch Simmons, Terrence Smith. We call him Shiny. But I still have another name for him. So I leave that. And, well, I'll see Honorable Skins, because he is one of the longest running,
right.
And I like to still use Honorable with him. Even though he was younger than us, he still showed a part, but his brother, then, well, I think I mentioned Kenneth Carter.
Yes, you did.
You had Royal Robertson. You had Errol Missy. All of them, they had finished school. Some of them had gone to college and come back. And then you had James Malcolm. Do you know James Malcolm?
He used to work at Barclays Bank?
At
Yes.
Barclays Bank. He's in Dominican Republic
Yes, I know
now.
him. I know him.
And in fact, he was one who was in Junkanoo at the night when it happened.
Okay. So the power movement then,
We have-
Junkanoo Club was formed?
It's Junkanoo was a building that was bought by Jakes and his brother.
Okay.
And in the back of the yard, they had another small building, which I bought.
Okay.
So it was one yard, then we cut it and made two. So I live in the back of the yard, and the Junkanoo is in the front. But it's in the Junkanoo that we form the Black
Power movement.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And we had a big truck, a flatbed truck, that we call Back to Africa.
Uh-huh.
And we would do a whole lot of things with that truck. You know, and when we want to have meetings, we would go on the beach and we would spend 3 days on the beach.
Just talking? Or planning, strategizing?
Partying too.
Oh, partying too. Okay, can't leave that one out.
Yeah, but the part about it, we get what we want. And I'm sure you heard about Mavis Harvey thing in South Caicos.
No, I didn't actually. I was going to ask you, were there women involved in the Black Power movement? And if there were, who were they?
All the women on Good Street, or
Was
the
involved?
young ladies, except the mothers. The mothers even was with it, but you had, well, must be about 4 or 5 of my sisters who were still there, enough.
Right.
And then you had like Seal and Pat and them from the Saunders, and you had, well, Kami and them who were further south. You had Common, Kuma, and them. Well, they changed.
Right, because of
But-
marriage, yeah.
But when it came to anything, they lost. Well, then you had Rodell and Ethel and a whole lot of other girls from Baxalina.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, we had a few from in town, those who wasn't afraid to come back Salina.
Why would they be afraid to come to Baxalina?
Well, those days, they had these names like Bombardier and Big Alfred out of prison and things like that. And most people were afraid to even walk in the night.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the main thing, that they didn't move around.
So these ladies who were involved with the Black Power movement, did you all see them as your equal, or what their role? What was their role in the movement?
Well, those who wanted to take active part, you had like Velma Carter and Barbara Carter, and you had from up in Egypt, you had Clarice Bell and all of them.
Dr. McGrantek said, right?
Yeah, Grand
Egypt?
Talk.
They
Yeah,
got part of the Grantek named Egypt.
yeah, we have a whole lot of the garden. You have garden on one side, then Egypt on the other side. Oh, so we have these names, but it's only then you had Kathleen, you have Kathleen Howie from West Road, Naimpi and all of them. They would come and be ready to do things with us.
Right.
You know, this was before the party was established. And
Before the People's Democratic Movement, you mean,
Yes.
was established.
And plus that, well, these young girls, they had, most of the young men who were Junkanoo up, maybe lovers or so,
Right.
had girlfriends in this
Right,
here too.
right.
So,
They all came along
to be with the man.
to be with the men. Ah, okay. Now, why the men couldn't be with the girls?
Huh?
Why it couldn't be the other way around?
Well, because at that time, Junkanoo was like equality for all. And they can hang out there and have just as much voice as the man or the woman.
I gotcha.
And no one would dare try to attack or hurt a young lady.
I gotcha.
Because we had so many other men there who wouldn't like it, and maybe they would end up in big trouble.
Right. I got you. So now, let's talk about the Junkanoo Club. You mentioned the building that Honorable McCartney had purchased, and they called it the Junkanoo Club, right? That was the name of the building, Junkanoo Club. Okay. Now, what are some things that happened? We talked about all of the meetings and so forth on the beach, but let's talk about what's some things that happened in this Junkanoo Club.
Well, it was our meeting place.
Okay.
And then plus that, it was like a clubhouse. We go there, you can purchase drinks, and I suppose that's where some of the drugs, there were some drugs involved, maybe one things. People come there, they feel free because they know that the police was coming there unless it was a police who was
involved in the club itself.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, but otherwise, that was mostly we played games.
Dominoes and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah. And this club was formed. What were the objectives of this club? What did you guys want to accomplish or achieve from this club?
Well, one of the main things is that we wanted to see ourselves as Turks and Caicos Islander, not at the bottom where people looking down on us. At that time, we couldn't even go on the beach and go in the sea in certain places.
Say what now?
You get it record, but where they say Barbados Beach is my own or something like that. Those days in Turks and Caicos, you almost had to fight to just go in the beautiful water.
Why though? I mean, what was the objection?
Because the way the houses were built along the beach, especially the front beach or the west beach around Front Street and about, you had the and whites, I should say, living there, and they figure, well,
my house is here, so this is my land then.
No, I don't think they ever take the land. They just didn't want to see the Turks and Caicos black boys on the beach bathing and things like that. And they would actually call the police or the superintendent of police to come and make us leave.
Wow. I mean,
so this was even before the Junkanoo time or the Black Power time. And we used to stone them with rocks. Oh,
the Caucasian
people. The people, if we can't be on the beach, you can't be there.
Right.
Oh, yeah, and then we would run, but, things happen. So it come to a point where you had grown young men.
Right.
Take a stand for us. And
say enough is enough.
Enough is enough, right. That's it. You got it. Time for a change.
Man, listen, you were giving me a history lesson here because I didn't realize, maybe I knew, but I didn't really realize that we had this kind of racism and prejudice, in our own country, right? I don't think I ever really understand it like that,
It's still here.
Where local people couldn't go on the beach and that kind of thing.
Well, the beach thing maybe it's okay now.
Right, yeah, of course.
But when it comes, you still have people who want to be in your country and still don't want to see us who are from here around there. So
now you're saying that that
our own country is too good for us.
Right. And the segregation that used to be so blatant back in the 70s is still here, but is now hidden a bit. That you're saying, right?
Yes, because I remember this was 1968. I came to Providenciales as a survey assistant, and I went to Turtle. It was just opening up. I think it was Cheese. What is his right name now? Lybrand.
Lybrand. I forgot his name. The first name, yeah. But Mr. Lybrand, yeah, I know him.
Mr. Lybrand. I think he married to my good friend Carolyn.
Carolyn, yeah.
And there were some more of us. Robert Williams, God rest his dead, and we were there having a drink. And the people at that time, the manager just came and said he wanted us out, or he don't want no black people in this place.
He said that, like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, I ain't sure if it was Cheese or Robbie just jumped over the counter and went in the bar and say, well, you must again have to take me out.
Right.
And, you know, after a month or so, I see the summons come. Use our own police.
Wow.
To put us in court. Stanley Williams, you know, Commissioner of Police Stanley Williams.
I've heard the name before. Yeah.
Well, he's retired now.
Yes.
Me and him was good friends. And I haven't reminded him about that.
I'm sure he remembers though.
Yeah, he remember. But the day that I had to go in court in Provo, because it happened in Provo, the manager went crazy. He was running through the hotel naked, and they looked like they decided to send him away back to the States. So they decided to throw out
the case. Wow.
But that was a little in Providenciales. But I could remember the times, you know, like sitting on the rock in Q talking to Nibble out of Eve. And with Jakes, this before the election, you know, and he would, all of us, we sit down, and then if they want to call him in the house and their kitchen, the man was so humble. And I can say, like Clement's song about him. Say he had a heart, he was like a lamb for his people.
Right.
But when it come to anybody else, he was a lion.
Of course.
You know, this how he was. And there was a lot of things that we contradicted, or a lot of times we went out and solved problems that were in Grand Turk. Well, we cleaned up Grand Turk.
Right.
And then after the government came in power, I think around 1980, by his demise, I don't think we had one foreign head of department.
Right.
One foreigner.
So he had already cleaned up all of that.
That the British government say, well, if you ain't want no outsiders or want us, you or independence. Well, let's hear what it is. You know. And they were supposed to give him £50 million to go independent. That's when he called Hubert James and me together. This was just before his demise in January of 1980.
Right.
And he said, Poop, that's how he used to like.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we got to go to Washington. We got some things to do. Say, the British government taking all our money that the U.S. has given us for the bases, because we had the Air Force base, the naval facility, plus we had the radar place on the hill, Nookie Hill we call it.
Right.
Then South Caicos, they had the Coast Guard. So that was 3 areas that they should have paid lease for. And we just felt like the U.S. were paying it to the English.
Okay.
And he say, Charlie, that's only one thing. The next thing is that we got all of these children that the workmen who came in on the basis who went or made with our
Local women.
local women and got children by them, say they should be Americans. Plus, they should be recognized in the state so that they can go to school and get the same benefits.
Correct.
The same benefits as American children.
Right.
And we were just sitting down and list and just making a list of the
things.
different that we see was wrong
Right.
and what
Concerns.
was happening.
Yeah.
And then there were women and men who were talking about sickness and that it came from the cables that were run from one base to the other,
Okay.
up to the radar, and people were getting sick. And he say he wanted this to be investigated, you know, and tell us what actually was happening, because sometimes I get confused with words.
No worries. You're doing very well.
Yeah, because from the lines, the vibration and other things that were coming from them,
Right.
you know, it maybe was infecting our people.
Or making them sick somehow.
Yes. So all of these things. So in January of 1980, I remember like now, we take off on either it was Red Carpet or one of them airlines.
Was it Air Florida from then? No, wait, that's too...
Yeah, we went to Florida. Yeah, Red Carpet used to run from Florida to Grand
But I know we
Park,
also had
Houston.
an airline called Air Florida one time. That was too early for that?
Well, it could have been near Florida too. Anyway, we went to Florida, and then we went to Washington.
Right.
We lived right across from the palace or the White House.
The White House, yeah.
And, well, the first time they didn't let me go. They said they only wanted him to talk to him. And when he came back, Hubert James got sick, so God rested there, my body. And so I couldn't go back with him. I had to stay with
Mr.
Hubert.
James, right.
So I missed that out. But we all went to Virginia, where the bases were, and we talked, and this where we were coming up, because they were the ones who were to talk to, the Air Force and the Navy and different things like that.
Right.
And then he stated the problems that we are having
In Turks and Caicos.
in Turks and Caicos.
Now, I want to ask you a couple more questions, but time is getting really short, right? So the first one now, we talked a bit about the Black Power movement. We talked a bit about the Junkanoo Club, out of which the Black Power movement was formed. Now, how did we go from the Junkanoo Club into the political party? What was that one thing that kind of, moved it from just a club, a social club, basically, to a political party?
Well, around 1975, there was this talk about a new constitution. Well, I got to say, we had done break the system down, that they want to give us something new.
Right.
Because in our favor. So we had like I tell you, Bob Francis and Norman Sanders and all of these others were making their party P&O at the time. So that's when Jakes, remember I tell you, he ran in 1972. This is just before 1976.
Right. So the party was informed in 1972 when he was running the first time.
No, it wasn't no party.
Okay.
There was no party in Tucson.
No PDM, no PNO, nothing.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Everybody run as independent.
Okay.
And you had people, I believe Norman was done there. I think Healy Ewing was there already. And you have Charles Missy. That's Washington Davis.
Dad, yes.
You know, sometimes it's hard to say. But I think the same problems that Charles Missy and them give us, we getting it from the children. It may look like but if you think about it, you know, but I don't think we had that much from Charles.
Right.
You know, much better man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me just ask you. Yeah. So tell me how we moved to from Junkanoo Club to the political PDM party that we now know.
This when we decided that we can be politicians too.
Right.
Although I was working for government, or partly going to college at the same time too, and this man we had Eddie Taylor come from the Bahamas. He was in politics before with Penland and them, and you had Hadley Durham.
Right.
Hadley Durham was a big part in that and came home. And before that, you had Jolly and them was talking about doing a party, and like the people say, but he can butter the bread on all sides and put cars in the garage and different things. People who didn't even have a garage and anything like that. But we had because we used to have to carry bread to school when we were small, and they would give us cheese and milk and things. I don't know if it happened. I don't think it happened in your time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But this when we decided, and like now I remember, it was at Mama Nita. Mildred and Louis Oswald, or I should say Louis and Mildred Oswald, had a club right on Front Street, exactly where the Premier's office is
now.
That's exactly where the club was formed.
Right.
And you had Jakes was the leader.
The party, you mean? The PDM party?
Yeah. The PDM party was formed then. And I think you had Ethel Williams. She was secretary. I think Rosabelle was assistant secretary. I'm not too sure. Hubbard Bean was treasurer. Anyway, at that time I was just a member, but after Ethel left, must be just after 1976, Rosabelle, I think, went to Jamaica to do teaching. And so that's when Oswald Williams became Secretary General, and I became Assistant Secretary. But since then, I've been like chairman of the branches and things around about, and members. Right now, I'm a steward
in the party.
And
you also are a walking encyclopedia of history information as well. So now we have more minutes in the show, but it's in the show, and I want to ask you your opinion on this. You've talked a lot about Jags and his vision, and from what you've told me, he was a visionaire. To be able to, in 1976 and so forth, and to see things so far down the line, that is a true visionaire, in my opinion. Now, You talked about how all of government was run by foreign people. You talked about other areas that we are still facing, even in 2016. So the question I want to ask you is this: What do you think, in your opinion, what do you think Jags would think of TCI in 2016, based on what he fought for in 1976?
If Jags would come in tux and kickers at this time, I think he would turn around and walk back in.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because even in 1980, it was better than what it is now.
How so? How so? Please tell me. How so?
1980, you had all the departments in government were, the heads of departments were tux and kickers handlers. And then you have most of the employees were tux and kickers handlers, right straight through. Even though at that time when he left, it maybe was only one good-sized hotel that was, oh Lord, what it is now up in the bite here up in...
Oh, Island Princess.
No, Island Princess and them were around, but the hotel that came was the one from France.
Club Med.
Club Med. And he took all the money that British had sent for tux and kickers, and he put it in Provo to make sure that the works would get done
On the hotel.
so that Club Med could have come in and build that hotel. And so they did. You know?
So from what you're saying now, it didn't seem like Jags had this Turks and Caicos mentality. You know how we have some issues now where, oh, you're from Caicos, you're from Turks. He didn't see it like that. He saw it as one country, Caicos Islands.
He moved the buoy. They had a buoy that the boats used to come into.
Right.
It was a buoy that, just for the boats, so the boats will know where to anchor.
Correct.
Those English boats and Dutch boats and all of them. And because the people in Grand Turk used to say, you from west of the buoy.
Yeah.
He moved it.
Good.
No more buoy.
Which was indicative of him saying, we are one.
One.
We are one. I wish we would still think that way today in 2016.
Oh, yeah. And he told them about it. One more thing is that Jakes formed the Titan Sport Club. It was a cricket club. And he took us to Jamaica in 1975, and we played about 4 different clubs in Jamaica. We spent about 10 days there. And we had a good time. But remember, this 1975. We spent time there, then we spent time in Haiti to look at our main thing, because the main cricket club, most of the members would be joining him in the political arena.
Yes.
So, he, like I say, he was a visionary.
Yes. He sounds like he was a great man. Now, final question. Your opinion once again. Jags is our only national hero that we have currently so far. You spent the show talking about his goals, his vision, his dreams for the TCI. Some of them we have realized, some of them we're still struggling to get a good grasp on. Do you think that we have other people in our country today who are worthy of that title that Jags carry now as our national hero?
People are always here. Some have the courage and some don't. But I wouldn't say there are not people who are in tux and caicos, because, like I say, you maybe have to look behind the rock, to find the person. But at this time, I would like to say a special hello to his wife, Dorothy McCartney, who's still much alive, and her children, because they put up for a lot.
Yes. 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 I'm glad that you brought that up. Yes.
You
Because I
know?
think sometimes we forget the family of the fighter, you know, because they have to sacrifice having the fighter in the house to protect them so that he could protect the whole country.
Exactly. And he would give his last to outsiders.
Yes.
And forget that he had his family
Yes. Yes.
at home.
Yes.
So that was the type of man he was. He never was a selfish or greedy or anything like that, you know. Because I remember him saying, you'll take the Africa, the jukebox, we'll take it out of the Junkanoo, put it on the Africa, and we'll take it up south where they have Carnival, right next door to Carnival. They had power there. And we'll just go up there, plug in the Junkanoo, listen to all of Bob Marley's songs, different names like that, and get ready for a meeting or get ready for a picnic.
Yes. Yes.
Because that was the way he was. He didn't mind about Junkanoo because he would say, well, let's close it down for the weekend. We ain't want nobody. We going out of town. We want to be by ourselves. And the girls come, meet us there, and sometimes we would be on the beach, like I say, from Friday to Sunday evening, straight through.
Well, I can see that you have fond memories of the Honorable Jags McCartney. From sitting here today speaking with you, I can really see that you remember him well.
Oh yeah, he used to be in my mother's house just about every day when he in Granta, or even if he come through and say, Marlis, let me see what you got to eat, and maybe just take a small bite and head out, because he loved my family. You know, he loved all the families,
Right.
because after he became chief minister, he would go around the PNP's families, like the parents who are, I talking about seasoned PNPs, I call them. I mean, and he would just go and sit down with them and talk and tell them, look, I ain't talking to you as a PDM.
Yes.
I talking to you
As a Turks and Caicos Islander.
Exactly.
Yes, at the end of the day, we have the same concerns.
Blue,
yellow, or in between.
Exactly.
And you know what? I am so wishing that we will recognize that in 2016. It doesn't matter. Blue, yellow, now we have green. At the end of the day, we are all Turks and Caicos Islanders with the same concerns.
Exactly.
And so thank you, Mr. Garland, for coming in today and speaking with us. Speaking with me in studio, but speaking to the wider TCI on the way that you remembered Honorable Jags McCartney. This was a great history lesson for myself, and I'm sure others who are listening in, they also got a great history lesson. And I think we need to do this more often. You know, not only around National Heroes Day, which is going to be celebrated on Monday. By the way, there's going to also be a parade happening downtown. I think it's a parade that's annually put on by the taxi drivers in honor of our national hero. Right now, that's only one that we have, the Honorable Jags McCartney. So we want you to go on out and support that parade on Monday. I think it starts at 4:30 p.m. Come on downtown with your flags. Bring your flag. Listen to me. We talk about Flag Day a lot.
What happened to my bell?
Just like we need no bell, man. We need a flag. Yeah. So last week we talked about the flags a lot. So please get your TCI flag and your TCI pride. Mr. Garland said he needs a bell. Don't bring no bell though. Bring a flag.
I don't need a bell. I have bell.
You have a bell?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but bring your TCI flag out on Monday.
I need a flag.
You need a flag? I'm sure somebody can find you a flag by Monday. Okay, today is Thursday. By Monday, you have some time to find a flag. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. much for coming today, guys. It has been a wonderful, informative show right here on TCI Patriot Hour. And from what all I've heard today, I am convinced that Honorable Jags McCartney was indeed a TCI Patriot. He was indeed a TCI Patriot. So let's continue to remember him as we go through this weekend, as we celebrate. Let's remember why we are celebrating. Let's remember that this man sacrificed a lot. He gave up a lot. He fought for a lot. And so let's celebrate those achievements. Before we go, one more reminder about Dance with Cinderella. The father-daughter dance is our third year. It's coming up June 11, 2016 in celebration or in recognition of Father's Day. We have some awesome fathers who do a wonderful job, and so we want to recognize them, give them a ticket to come out to dance with their little girls. And even if you're not a dad, even if you play the role of a dad in some other girl's life, please come on out. June 11 at Brayton Hall starts at 6:30 p.m. That's 6:30 p.m. real time. If you come at 7, you'll meet some things going on already. There'll be lots of fun, a cash bar, silent auctions on some great prizes. It's always a struggle trying to find gifts that men would appreciate, but I think I did a pretty good job. Thankful to all of the sponsors who, without them, this would not have been possible. Thank you so very much. There's also going to be live music and full dinner. Lots of giveaways. So come on out and support this event. Remember, all of the funds raised go back to Nutrition Demand. That's a nonprofit who raises awareness to health and healthy eating. We do a lot of work in the community. Most of all, that is for free. Tickets are on sale for just $65 a couple. That's a father and a daughter. And if you have a third or fourth daughter, that extra daughter pays just $35, and you get a free drink as well with that. So if you need information on where to get tickets, you can call 442-3978, or you can email nutritionindemand@yahoo.com. That's nutritionindemand@yahoo.com. Thank you so very much. We look forward to having you on June 11. Thank you once again for also sitting in and tuning in to the TCI Patriot Hour. It has been wonderful being your guest host and having Mr. Charlie Garland in studio with me today. I learned a whole lot. Remember, as you go out through this weekend, remember the reason for the celebration on Monday and throughout the weekend. The reason is the Right Honorable Jackson and all he did for the TCI. A lot of things that we're now accustomed to is because of the fight that he fought back in the 1970s. And so we want to say thank you to the Right Honorable Jags McCartney. All right. Amen. Thank you once again. Have a great day. We'll see you next week, Thursday, same time, same place at 1:00 p.m. for another exciting episode of the TCI Patriot Hour. I've been your host, Tamika Handfield, and I'm saying goodbye until next time.
This article is called National Identity, written and narrated by Jamel Robinson. The question of who we are as Turks and Caicos Islanders has been one that many have pondered for decades with no definitive answer to date. Our history teaches us that our islands have been conquered, reconquered, colonized, and conquered again by the French, the Spanish, and finally settling with the British. From that time to present, we have had very few occasions where persons across these islands have had a singular cause to be unified as one. Little or no development took place for centuries. We were not even used as a traditional colony, where a single industry was developed for the sole purpose of supplying the mother country. Case in point, the salt industry was spearheaded by Bermudian settlers for their own benefit, not England's. Middle Caicos was settled by Africans from the slave ship Troubadour that was shipwrecked off the coast of East Caicos. The sisal, sponge, and other plantation-related industries attempted were set up by relocated American loyalists who were granted land in the Caicos Islands. All these industries never proved sustainable in the long term. nor were they deployed throughout the Turks and Caicos as a whole. This likely resulted in not producing a revolt in unity by islanders to stem our commonality. I say all of that to point to the fact that each island has essentially developed somewhat uniquely independent of each other, save for the commonality of Grand Turk, South Caicos, and Salt Key during the salt industry. Think about it. Ask any Turks and Caicos islander where are they from, and they will tell you which island they were born, grew up, or where their family is from, rather than saying the Turks and Caicos Islands. In most other countries, people would say the country first, and only when prompted would they say which state, city, or town they're from. This speaks to our tribalism, where a person would prefer an outsider preside over them rather than someone from a different tribe to theirs. Some, both local and foreigner, have used the TCI backstory, i.e. tribalism, colonialism, geography, or lack of national identity to keep us divided for their own agenda. Some have perpetuated this in ignorance, not fully knowing the long-term effects. For example, I was born in the USA, grew up in Grand Turk on Good Street, North Axelina, and later relocated to Breezy Brae. My parents are from Grand Turk and North Caicos, and I am a Turks and Caicos Islander. Undoubtedly, there will not be many, if any, other Turks and Caicos Islanders exactly like me. My older brother was born in Grand Turk, grew up on Good Street, then later relocated to Breezy Brae, and has lived in the USA for many years. Though seemingly similar, he is not exactly like me. However, the common thread we share is the fact that we are both Turks and Caicos Islanders in every sense of our national and cultural identity. So what are the solutions? We need a name change, either in what we call ourselves or completely changing the name of the country. Honorable C. Washington Mizik proposed Turkasians many years ago, merging the Turks with the Caicos. This could be a start. Whatever the combination chosen, once it serves to unite us, it can work. The country name change may be the answer because historically, countries that have an N in them, the island coming behind it, are treated poorer than the islands at the front. Usually this is because the island before the N, A-N-D, is the economic hub, the seat of government, or just simply bigger. An example here would be Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, or St. Kitts and Nevis. What we have in the TCI is the opposite of many countries. The Caicos Islands are geographically bigger than the Turks Islands. Providenciales is now the economic hub, yet Grand Turk remains the seat of government. Though for a brief point in history, Q North Caicos was the capital. The perfect example of a uniting name is the Bahamas. The Bahamas has more islands and keys than the Turks and Caicos Islands. And like its name, the citizens also have one unifying name, Bahamians. They have their issues, I'm sure, but their national identity is not one of them. Also of note is that many former African colonies have changed their names on achieving independence, such as Ghana, which was formerly known as the Gold Coast. Why should we have to wait for independence if a name change is desired by our people and can result in the unifying that we need? The other solution or opportunity is that circumstances must get to the point across the length and breadth of this country where we have no other choice but to unite and conquer that which divides. Every Caribbean country has had that moment as a part of their story. We have yet to have ours, though some may opine we did with the Junkanoo uprisings. Nevertheless, what Jakes McCartney started in 1975 has yet to take root in this country, and what he fought for has yet to be universally respected or accepted across the country. The time must come, and I believe that time is drawing near. And then and only then will we unite and define both our national and cultural identity.
This is my island land that I love. Turks and Caicos, blessed from above.